We begin with a recent decision by local leaders to raise the minimum wage, a decision that has put Montgomery County on the national stage. Susan Kennedy reports.
The new law will raise the minimum wage to $11.50 per hour by the year 2017. The measure was overwhelmingly approved by the council and signed into law by the county executive without a hitch. Councilmember Mark Elrich led the charge to raise the minimum wage. He says he believes this is the most effective piece of legislation passed by the council during his tenure.
It's really good. I mean, we do a lot of legislation, and I can't think of anything we've done that will affect people's lives as profoundly for like years to come as this legislation. And I don't think, you know, in public service, being able to make a difference in people's lives is the definition of public service.
For those workers who are supporting themselves or their families on a thin financial margin, an increase in the minimum wage will provide them with additional money, much of which probably will be spent right here in our local economy here in Montgomery County.
The bill was co-sponsored by council members Valerie Irvin and Nancy Navarro. This historic vote is designed to balance the needs of county workers and businesses that are still recovering from the national recession. Prince George's County has since passed a similar measure, and the District of Columbia is poised to do the same. Elrich says that regional approach was key to the bill's passage.
I think so, because once it was regional and we all were on the same time frame, we all know the wage is inadequate. We all see the social consequences of poverty. It wasn't like we had to debate, like, is it okay for poverty to go on like this forever? We all felt we needed to do something.
The bill signing precedes action by the state. Delegate Tom Hucker says he hopes this move will provide momentum for similar legislation during the General Assembly session in 2014.
Yeah, there's been a minimum wage bill almost every year. It always goes down in defeat, unfortunately. But, you know, having Montgomery step out like this and be the first county in the state to raise the minimum wage, having Prince George's follow our lead right after that, having our friends in D.C. do the same thing, I think will take a lot of the wind out of the sails of the opposition.
Thank you all for all the work you did.
In Rockville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
Local leaders are still touting the Montgomery delegation for some big wins in Annapolis during the 2013 legislative session, especially when it came to the delegation's top priority, transportation funding. Lorna Virgili reports.
Executive Leggett and council members celebrated Team Montgomery, the county's state delegation, for approving a gas tax increase to fund transit projects.
We estimate that there are probably close to 100,000 jobs that are related in some form or fashion to our ability to resolve our transportation challenges. Whether you talk about the Purple Line, what we're doing at White Flint, White Oak, the Carter City Transit, the Science City, you name it, it is tied to transportation.
And as we started our budget hearings last night, I can tell you that it's a different tone, but I think that has to do with the notion that as we had to cut so many different positions and programs in the last 3 years, $1.2 billion of gap that we had to close, the question was always, and what are you doing to grow the base? What are you doing to grow revenues? And for us, this issue of master plans and this issue of moving forward with transportation infrastructure is tied to that economic development strategy.
For years, Executive Leggett stood practically alone advocating for increasing the statewide gasoline tax to grow transportation funds. The effort failed in last year's legislative session, and this year, the county set transportation funding as its #1 priority for the session.
We zeroed in on the target this year, and everybody was together on it, and we simply refused to leave Annapolis until we passed the Comprehensive Transportation Infrastructure Investment Act of 2013, and we had total unity and cohesion and focus on that.
The possible 5% sales tax to the wholesale price of gasoline would likely go up each year, and its net effect on gas prices will depend on the price of fuel.
We need the Purple Line, we need the Corridor Cities Transitway, we need money for Ride-On, we need the Watkins Mill Interchange, and so many other projects around the county. And I would say that this, where other jurisdictions had other priorities, this was our #1 priority. And the governor, the speaker, and the Senate president knew that this was the #1 priority in Montgomery County, and knew that since we, as the economic engine of the state of Maryland, we needed this money, we needed to keep business moving, we needed to keep people moving, and so we were delighted to come up with this success this year.
The delegation was also congratulated for passing other measures, including the state's gun violence law, the abolishment of the death penalty, and driver's licenses for undocumented residents. In Rockville, for County Report This Week, I'm Lorna Virgili.
Getting around on two wheels is now a little easier now that the Capital Bike Share Network has expanded its program to Montgomery County. Rockville 11 covered the launch at one of the county's first bike stations.
That's right. It was an exciting launch event for the expansion of the Capital Bike Share Network right here in downtown Rockville. Elected officials and cycling enthusiasts were on hand to give their support for the bike share program in Montgomery County.
We're here to celebrate the first bike sharing system in Maryland.
Red Bikes in Rockville and the rest of the county mean the expansion of the Capital Bike Share Network in Maryland. Bike sharing provides short-term bicycle rentals at self-service automated solar-powered docking stations. The launch event brought out supporters of the program.
And there's no question that Montgomery County is the leader in bike paths, bikeways, and bike share.
I think that it provides us with a foundation for an expansion, not only here in the city of Rockville, but throughout the entire Montgomery County, Friendship Heights, Chevy Chase, Bethesda, and Silver Spring, all over the county. We are joining a regional network, as you know, from the District of Columbia, Arlington, Fairfax, Alexandria. So I think it's exciting for the riders, for our young people, for any and everybody who want to be part of the bike sharing program.
A lot of good reasons to ride a bicycle, but I think the main reason is because it's fun. And I think bike share is going to open up the fun of bicycling to a lot more people, and they're going to realize that it's a great thing that you can incorporate into your everyday life.
Rockville's Bike and Pedestrian Safety Coordinator Kevin Belanger worked with the county's Department of Transportation to launch the program. He gave us a tutorial on how bike sharing works.
If you have the full year membership, that's what this thing does here. It's $75 for a full year membership, and it gives you unlimited 30-minute trips you want to take around town. If you go over 30 minutes, it costs you $1 per every 30 minutes on top of that. You'll take your key fob, you'll stick it into the hole right here. You'll wait until the light turns green, and you'll just hop up on pull the seat back, comes out pretty easily. When you're done with your trip, go back to the station, find an empty dock, and just shove it back in, wait till the light turns green, and you're good to go. You can walk away from it.
Membership options include anywhere from yearly registration to 1 day. For more information and a map showing installed stations in the county, go to montgomerycountymd.gov/bikeshare. For County Report This Week, I'm Bridget Suiso.
Studies continually indicate that teenagers are not getting enough sleep. That's why Montgomery County Public Schools is considering a recommendation by the superintendent to reset the school start times. MCPS TV has the story.
School start and end times, also known as bell times, may be changing at Montgomery County Public Schools, and the school system is seeking community input. Superintendent Joshua Starr is recommending that the school system consider pushing back high school start times by 50 minutes, from 7:25 a.m. to 8:15 a.m., moving middle school start times 10 minutes earlier from 7:55 a.m. to 7:45 a.m., and keeping elementary school start times the same, but extending the elementary school day by 30 minutes.
We're looking at starting the day 50 minutes later for high school kids, and it gives them more time to sleep in the morning and more time to be rested and raring and ready to go. It's related to their health and well-being, and we've made that a key part of our strategic planning framework.
Dr. Starr's recommendation is based on a report by the 2013 Bell Times Work Group, which has been studying this issue for the last 10 months.
We had a pretty clear plan for the work group to study the research, to study the past efforts, to look at what the opportunities were for us. Some of the benefits we hope to see would be that students at the high school level just feel happier and healthier, and that's been reported in other places where they've made these changes.
Superintendent Starr spoke about the benefits of extending the elementary school day.
Our kids at elementary school currently spend less time in school than just about every other jurisdiction in the state, and there's so much we could do with that time.
The next step in the process is to get input from a broad array of stakeholders on Dr. Starr's recommendation and to study the cost and operational impact of changing bell times.
We're in the process of developing an outreach plan. It'll be extensive. We hope to go to every corner of Montgomery County and find out what people's thoughts and needs are.
The outreach will include 4 public meetings, focus groups, surveys, and other opportunities for community input. Comments can also be emailed to belltimes@mcpsmd.org.
This is a recommendation. It is not a done deal. We need to understand the feasibility, we need to understand the practicality and the costs associated with it to see if we can go forward.
When we come back, the president visits a Rockville small business. And then we'll tell you what these Poolsville students learned about what happens every 15 minutes. Stay with us.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC 311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Welcome back to this special edition of County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke, and we are showcasing some of the year's top events that took place right here in Montgomery County. It's not every day that the President of the United States comes to town. Earlier this year, President Obama visited a woman-owned construction company in Rockville, where he discussed the impact of the budget battle.
Well, hello, Rockville.
During the first week of the federal government shutdown, President Obama paid a visit to a Montgomery County construction company, where he pressed Congress to end the shutdown. While many local leaders attended the invitation-only event, area residents, some of them furloughed employees, lined the streets outside M. Lewis Construction in hopes of catching a glimpse of the president's motorcade.
I'm furloughed, so I wanted to come and show my support for him.
I thought it was pretty neat. There's a lot of security here. Lots of security.
The most exciting day of my life. I didn't get to see him at the inaugurations, you know. So for him to come to our backyard, I mean, this is just absolutely amazing.
It was pretty neat. I mean, I work in the district. We see his motorcades go by a lot. But like I said, I'm kind of an amateur photographer, so I like to just get good shots. And I got a pretty good shot of him.
If you could talk to him, do you have a message for him?
Yeah, stay the course.
Came down to see the president. I've never seen him before, so.
I saw him in the back seat by himself. He was second car in, the limousine coming in.
It's nice to see the president coming out and seeing what we are, what we're doing here and what our businesses do here in Rockville.
The construction company employs about 250 workers, and its owners said they were honored to host the president.
I feel a sense of overwhelming gratitude and awe that the president would take a look at companies like ourselves.
They also praised Montgomery County officials.
We are so delighted to be part of a county that is so business friendly and actively supports the business community. I think we can't stress that enough.
And we were very pleased that the president singled them out as a great local business that's helping our economy grow strong.
There's a program that targets high school seniors and challenges them to think about drinking and driving and the responsibility of making mature decisions before getting behind the wheel. Susan Kennedy covered this story from Poolsville High.
It's a harsh reality. Every 15 minutes, someone dies in an alcohol-related accident. And to drive that point home, students from the Poolsville High SAD Club worked in conjunction with police and fire personnel to recreate a car accident with actual emergency and police vehicles responding. The staged accident was caused by a drunk driver, a student. The victims were also students. The Every 15 Minutes program offers students real-life experience without the real-life risk.
This is not an accident. This is a choice. And these kids chose to drink and drive. Therefore, they chose to take someone else's life. As we go into prom season, as we go into graduation time and sports in spring and summer, these kids can make this a part of their life, to make a responsible choice not to drink and drive, text and drive.
Students watched from the front of the school as their classmate was extracted from the vehicle with the jaws of life and taken by stretcher to a waiting ambulance. The driver was given a field sobriety test and eventually led away in handcuffs by police.
It's like, wow, like, if this was real, I did that. I feel like it was really moving because, like, to see, like, myself in a sobriety test and all that, it's just really, like, scary and just, like, to show, like, this can happen to anybody and it's just stupid to do and, like, it's scary.
Even though it's fake, it's still hard to watch because it looks real and, like, it gets the idea that it could happen to your friends, and I think it's, like, important for us to see because we don't want this to actually happen to any of our friends.
One of the student actors was Assistant Chief Graham's daughter. Though she hears her dad's message on a regular basis, participating in the event brought it all home.
That being in the accident itself was pretty powerful. I didn't expect this kind of reaction or intense emotions being in the accident.
But in the end, officials hope that even if this important safety message resonates with just one student, they will have reached their goal.
Watching somebody get arrested and taken away, actually, I think it drives it home. Visual, the kids are really visual. They like to see, things, touch them with their hands or get close enough where they can see them, so it's not just a theory. So I think this does a lot of good. Like Chief Graham said, if it just gets one or two, then we're happy.
In Poolesville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
This past year, county officials noted an increase in pedestrian collisions in parking lots and garages, so they launched an educational campaign to raise awareness for all of us. Lorna Virgili has more.
Looking down and talking on the cell phone while walking through a parking lot. This is a picture of what authorities say is an accident waiting to happen. Therefore, the county has launched an educational campaign to address the growing number of pedestrian collisions in parking lots.
We have the holiday season coming up, and all of us are going to be spending an inordinate amount of our time in parking lots. We do as a course of modern life anyway. But we have noticed at the county, as we've pursued our pedestrian safety initiative over the past years, that a significant number of pedestrian collisions are happening in parking lots.
As a matter of fact, over the past 5 years, there has been a 50% increase in parking lot collisions. Last year alone, there were 125 collisions in parking lots and garages.
What normally happens is the following. There are drivers who are not mindful of those who are walking pedestrians. Pedestrians who are walking in between cars, disregarding the markings that you normally would see on the roads, assuming that it is safe. They have groceries and bags in their hands. They have iPods and earphones which they cannot hear, they cannot see, and the drivers do not see them. You do not have the eye-to-eye contact. And so it is an accident waiting to happen.
The educational campaign features the message, don't run over people, don't get run over. And it consists of ride-on-bus ads, bus shelter ads, and safety tip cards, all aimed at drivers and pedestrians in English and in Spanish.
Slow down and look around. You have to be seen to be safe, whether it's from distracted drivers or your own clothing. High visibility is a very important element here.
Turns out that 80% of the time it is a driver's fault when it comes to parking lot collisions.
When we're out on the street, we have a few more tools that we can use. We can write citations when someone commits a violation. We're at a bigger disadvantage in a parking lot because on private property, police can't write citations for these violations. So it's important for us to focus on prevention. It's important for us to focus on awareness and education.
Thus, the county has partnered with several retail property managers and owners to bring the safety messages directly to drivers and pedestrians in parking lots.
When we come back, we'll tell you about some changes to voting precincts And a well-known weather personality brings the Today Show to a Montgomery County school.
Montgomery County high school and middle school students compete for cash in the Keeping It Safe Under 21 Alcohol Prevention Coalition PSA contest. Middle school students can receive up to $500, while high school students can win up to $1,000. Entries must be 30 seconds in length. The message: prevent underage drinking. Entry forms and submission dates can be found online at montgomerykountymd.gov/KIS. Get your entries ready and remember to keep it safe.
Welcome back to this end of the year special edition of County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. We are recapping some of the events that made headlines this year in Montgomery County. After the 2010 census, the state of Maryland approved a new redistricting plan for local, state, and federal electoral districts. Lorna Virgili reports.
Next time you head to cast your vote, make sure you have the correct polling place. The county's Board of Elections has implemented precinct boundary changes that will affect voters in Montgomery.
So currently the Board of Elections are looking to realign precincts, possibility of merging precincts and or adding precincts between now and the gubernatorial primary elections, which is Tuesday, June 24th.
As a result of the 2010 census, the legislative districts were adjusted last year by the governor and the General Assembly. The realignment of the legislative district lines requires precinct boundary modifications in several Montgomery County election precincts. Even though the changes may confuse some voters, the Board of Elections highlights that there will be benefits to the new precinct assignments.
Voters who will be impacted will be notified by the Board of Elections. We will send correspondence regarding those changes. In addition, I think it's important that voters will update their voter registration records. When doing that, we will send them a notification with the appropriate information to where they will vote, the name and address of their precinct. What's vital is that record in turn will become a sample ballot, and we mail that several weeks before an election with all the information and the sample shot of their specific ballot style.
The new precinct changes will take effect on June 24th, 2014, which is primary election day in the state of Maryland. For more information, visit 777vote.org.
Now we'll go to Forest Knolls Elementary School, where students and faculty welcome Today's Show host Al Roker. MCPS TV has the story.
May 10th was a special day at Forest Knolls Elementary School in Silver Spring, as students and staff hosted celebrity weather personality Al Roker.
Hey guys, thanks so much. We're at Forest Knolls Elementary School in Silver Spring, and it's time for the morning announcements.
Roker, a stalwart on the Today Show and the Weather Channel, did a guest spot on the school radio show, served breakfast to students, and was serenaded by the Forest Knolls Choir. Lunch and recess aide Genevieve Bowles heard about the Wake Up with Al contest and suggested the school enter because it would support the school's program.
Forest Knolls is a great school because we actually have a communication art magnet program, so the kids are learning about television, they're learning about radio, they're learning about press.
Students wrote persuasive essays, hoping to convince Roker to come to their school. The whole experience was a learning opportunity for the students.
They get to see jobs that they might never have thought of before. And so you want them to start thinking about things like this now.
And whether it's here or somewhere else as a public speaker or whatever, they're learning a fabulous skill that they can take with them forever.
Al Roker took a little something away from the experience, too.
They're just all very engaged and excited and happy. It's a very diverse school population, and it just goes to show that there are a lot of great examples of public education that work.
Students were thrilled by the experience and the chance to participate in a national TV broadcast.
I guess all these kids were persuasive enough that we got this, and it's a dream come true.
When we come back, the Gaithersburg Book Festival attracts well-known authors from around the country to Montgomery County for this annual event. And we'll go to Wheaton for the Salvadorian American Festival.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back to the Best of County Report this week. I'm Sonia Burke. Our special show is looking back at some of the year's biggest events in Montgomery County. The Gaithersburg Book Festival just seems to get bigger and better each year. And in its 4th year, this literary event puts Montgomery County on the map as a cultural destination.
We don't know. That's a mystery of the Bermuda Triangle.
Children's authors Mac Barnett and John Sheska entertain an overflow tent at the Gaithersburg Book Festival. They were just 2 of the many featured authors. Other headliners included 2 of MTV's original VJs, authors Kitty Kelly, Daniel Hernandez Jr., Mark Shriver, Adele Griffin, Evan Thomas, Walter Dean Myers, Fred Bowen, comedian Jimmy Walker, and the list goes on and on.
It's amazing to see, even on a rainy day like this, all these people wandering about with books in hand.
How many book festivals feature a presentation from a king? A Silver Spring resident and one of only 3 women kings in the world, King Peggy told us her story is going to be made into a movie.
Will Smith will write the book, and Queen Latifah will be playing me in the movie.
We spotted the parents of Redskins quarterback RG3 reading to children in the Storytime tent. Throughout the day, book lovers came from all over to meet some of their favorite authors, and the authors did the same.
I also like John Sheska, so I'm here to get my this signed.
John Sheska is one of my favorite authors in the world. He's the reason I started writing picture books.
What a great audience kids are. And it's so much fun to write funny stuff, which I love to write.
Festival founder Judd Ashman reports this year's event set an attendance record.
I think the day has been spectacular.
I think what these guys have done is really given a gift to Gaithersburg.
Had so much fun here. It's been so great to talk to some of the authors that are here. And
it's terrific to emphasize books and literature and literacy, so it's something that we need to do more of as a country and as a community. Gaithersburg's leading the way. It's great.
Speaking of popular festivals, the county hosted the Salvadorian American Day Festival at the Wheaton Triangle to commemorate and celebrate our county's growing Salvadorian community. Lorna Virgili has more.
Sonia, thousands gathered in Wheaton to celebrate the Salvadorian American Day in Montgomery County. But the celebration and recognition was not only by our county, also by the state of Maryland.
And this is signed this day by me, Isaiah Leggett, as county executive.
Y lo proclamo así en este día como ejecutivo de este condado.
Viva El Salvador! Viva El Salvador!
The county hosted the festivities at the Wheaton Triangle. Since Salvadorans comprise the largest percentage of Hispanics in Montgomery, efforts are being made to reach out to this particular segment of the population.
Well, it really means a great deal because it reflects the fact that we are a very good and inclusive community for all people. That we want to treat everyone with dignity and respect. It also reflects the very strong heritage that we have in our community, the great diversity, and the strong role that the El Salvadoran community plays in Montgomery County. We want to certainly recognize that. And today is a good chance to do that.
I'm very proud to be here as a part of this celebration of the Salvadorian American Day. Because this government and this U.S. citizen has been recognizing the great achievement of the Salvadorian community to this country.
Aside from traditional food and music, county agencies had a strong presence. Representatives from the Departments of Recreation and Police, as well as the Board of Elections, spent the day handing out information to residents.
I'm going to be visiting the health fair, which is really important, particularly as we're trying to do the outreach and education on the Affordable Care Act and health reform, and also the screening that's being done. So I'm really excited about it. I appreciate Delegate Ana Sol Gutierrez for inviting me, for showing me around, and I'm just excited to be here today.
In Wheaton, for County Report this week, I'm Lorna Virgili.
Finally, mark your calendars for January 20th, 2014. That's when Montgomery County celebrates the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. You can find out all kinds of ways you and your organization can get involved in area service projects by visiting the Montgomery Serves website. And with that, we close this special edition of County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. We'll return in the new year with more Montgomery County stories from the hallways of government to the hearts of the people living in our communities. From all of us here at County Report This Week, we wish you a safe and happy holiday season. Thank you for watching.